Alright, the bot was slow today, but the bot has made its announcement, so it is time to start Wild West Wednesday. Yeehaw, everybody! I don't know why I didn't think to do this before, but I have many cowboy hats, and I'm going to wear my cowboy hat today. My most recent cowboy hat, I should say. So hello to everybody, welcome to Wild West Wednesday. Hello to everybody in chat. Hello to the Deluxe Tux and Electric Dragon UK and Tom aka Satnav and Slacks and Rocky Johan and KC Adventure and Pixie Cow and DJ Larry Parker and I believe that's everybody. And everybody else who may be lurking who hasn't said anything. But anyway, yes, I have to fix. There we go. All right, so what am I doing today? Well, I'm doing a background. I'm doing specifically a close-up background because I realized that I have not done this background, and it's close-ups are fun. They're quick to get through. I was on A Maple Mystery, the Crimson Diamonds stream last night, and she said she did not like doing backgrounds or close-ups. I do like doing close-ups because I can finish them quickly. So that's what I'm doing today. So specifically, I'm doing this close-up, which is a shelf full of containers of tea. And as you can see here, I took a reference photo this morning to look. There's me in the in the reflection. I took I took a little reference photo just to figure out the configuration of these teas here. So yes, so basically this is a close-up of a wooden wall with a shelf with some teas on it. So that's what we're going to be working on today. And hopefully I will get it finished on stream or close to it, close to finished, because as I said, close-ups don't take a lot of time because there's usually not a lot of detail involved. I mean, this might be a little detailed because of the actual tea containers, but they're each separate layers and separate objects, so I'm not too worried here. But, the main thing is getting the wood texture and all of that stuff. So that's what I'm focusing on. That is what I am doing. So anyway, Yorkshire tea, yes. Reflection looks like a Force Ghost from Star Wars. Tea-rific, that's right, that's right. Get all your tea puns in now. Oh, thank you, Pupil Hands, for the follow. Pupil Hands, that's a great name. Does it mean that you have hands like pupils of the eyes, or students, or I don't even know. Didn't realize I wasn't already, lol. Okay. Hey, Maple Mystery, speak of the devil. Your question is yes. Okay. Sure. I was just saying that you mentioned on your stream that you did not like drawing close-ups. I don't mind drawing close-ups because, as I said, they're quick to get through for the most part. So I am drawing a close-up today. And I'm wearing my cowboy hat, as I said I would. Here I am. So everyone follow A Maple Mystery. Julia Minamata working on the Crimson Diamond. Streams every Tuesday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern for Crimson Tuesday. Last night she was painting a very cool close-up of a bucket in EGA and also playing Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. Next week you're going to have another music stream, right? I like them, but I find the opposite. Close-ups take forever. Interesting. Yeah, see, for me it's the opposite. Close-ups, I get them done quick. Quicker, anyway, than full backgrounds because there's not as much detail necessarily. So, whoops. When I'm doing wood grain, it's probably a good idea to just do this. Okay, also I realized that since this is a close-up of this bit here, I should probably like do what I did here and do a little bit of a slightly more orange hue going across here, which there. Bam. Like Emerald Lagasse. Anybody remember Emerald Lagasse? Whatever happened to him anyway? 8 sorry, 8 p.m. Yes, you're right. Why did I think 8:30 p.m.? I don't know why. 8 p.m. Tuesdays. Possibly music stream. Dan has gotten busier, but we'll see. Yeah, I've been seeing him on Instagram Live, or not Instagram Live, on Instagram Stories. He's been going out and playing concerts and stuff. So that's cool. And hello, Judith Butler's lover. So just doing some very, very quick and ugly, dirty lines for some implied wood grain texture, and then I'm going to come in with some highlights and make the wood look a little bit more like that. Whoops. Hello, Big Hattie. Oh, if Big Hattie, is that who I think it is? Because if it is, I haven't seen you in forever. I was just wondering the same thing. I feel like people don't watch normal cooking shows anymore. TV cooking has all turned into that reality competition nonsense. That's true. There's no more like instructional cooking shows. It's all just who can cook the best apple turnover or whatever. And then they fight about it. Maybe. Uh-huh. Okay. Well, welcome back. Hope you've been well. Alright, so now that I've got that, now let's do some highlights here. Which I guess this would be this board here, so this... There. And also do it a little bit here, just for... No, too far. There we go. So yeah, there we go. That's about there. It doesn't matter. Do this here, but do this more here. Also here. Hasn't been that long. 15 years. 15 years is a long time. I don't need to see 4 chefs with tragic backstories make desserts out of frog eyeballs in 15 minutes. I just want to learn how to make a decent meal. Yeah, you know what my pet peeve is too? Is this isn't about cooking shows, it's just about recipes. But it really annoys me whenever you look for a recipe online and you have to like scroll through 80 pages of some personal anecdote about how Granny made this recipe and it's so nice and blah blah blah, and then you finally get to it and it's like, okay, just tell me how to make the damn cake. I don't want to hear about your horrible life. I watch all my cooking shows on YouTube now. Okay, well, as long as there's still a good source for cooking shows. There's a plugin to skip all that stuff. Okay, I think they really wanted to be a writer instead. I feel like I read that since you can't really copyright a recipe, the way that they distinguish them or that they can claim them to be unique or something is by adding all of that extra crap. I'm not sure how true that is, but it makes some amount of sense, I guess. Recipe filter. Okay, I'll have to look into it. Not that I mean, actually, normally when I look up recipes, I look at them on my phone. I don't know if you can you do Safari plugins on your phone? Because if you can, I'm not aware. Okay, let me save this. Let me also put my sketch layer back up. Yeah, see, I'm spending way too much time on this because essentially all we're gonna see is the front of the shelf. So, and the tees are gonna be mostly, I mean, you're gonna see the wall when the tees have been picked up, but for the most part, I'm just gonna do this here. So this is going to be the main part of the shelf here. Right there. And then we really don't need to worry about the perspective grid because honestly I'll just do the top of the shelf along this way here. My sketch layer goes here, so we'll do this like that. There. There. Okay, so now I'll just do a little bit more of a sort of a light here. Oh, there's some new people. I still use actual cookbooks. I have a ton of them laying around. Okay. YouTube is big enough that there's room for every type of niche or non-niche cooking content. First time chat from Treats Trinkets, former food blogger here. You have to write all that stuff for SEO purposes. Pure recipe sites exist, but they don't show up until like the 8th search page. Wow. Well, with a name like Treats Trinkets, I can see why you were a former food blogger. That's great. Also, welcome. There's a good cooking show on the Japanese channel NHK. I learned this amazing vegetable soup recipe from them. And also, hello Sven Matthias. Welcome. Good to have you here. Okay, so let's see here. So I'm going to do a darker... Well, no. Hold on. Not going to do that. I'm going to do a darker version here. I should say a darker line here. There. And I'm going to select all and do a very quick also shading here. Just make this ever so slightly darker on this bit. I probably could have played with the opacity a little bit better. Yeah, fine. Okay, let's blend this in a little bit better. There we go. And now also make this lighter here. Because why not? And then blend this in again. Alright. Cool. Let's add a little texture here to our surface just for the hell of it. Just to make it more interesting, because most shelves have some form of texture, even if it's just like wood grain or something. So, anyway. Zoom in a bit. Hello, Getselius. Welcome. I see we've decided to change careers and become a cowboy. No, I'm just getting into the spirit. I'm very excited because I actually finished writing my first draft for Act 2, and I'm almost finished writing Act 3. So I'm pretty sure, unless I get stuck on like some sort of catastrophic writer's block in the next 3 days, that I will have my first draft of the whole game written by the end of the month, as I had as I had self-imposed deadline, or I had set my self-imposed deadline to do. Even though I fell behind with Act 2 because there was a lot more to it than I thought. I wanted to have Act 2 done by the end of March and spend April, or I don't even remember anymore. No, I wanted to have Act 2 done by the end of February, and I wanted to spend March and April writing Act 3. But I ended up finishing Act 2 like 2 weeks ago? And, or a week ago? But I had started writing Act 3 in the interim, so I could have at least some stuff. And Act 3 was a lot quicker to get through. So I really only have like 4 rooms left to write. So Wednesdays are for the boys, cowboys. Finishing projects, what are you, superhuman? No, I've been working on this project for 3.5 years now. So it's about time I get closer to the finish line. So anyway, yeah, so I'm happy because it means that I'm still pretty much on schedule. And I like being on schedule. So after the first draft is done, do you put all the text in the game and adjust from there, or read through it and do another draft before adding all the text? No, I don't put the text in the game until it's been finalized, or I haven't been doing that for this game. So now, once the first draft is done, I look over it, and my editor looks over it, and we make changes. And once we've made enough changes that it feels good and final, that's when I implement it into the game. So I don't have to be making changes and keeping track of stuff in the game itself. Excuse me. Because that way lies madness. Possibly. Just based on previous experience and previous games where I wrote everything in the engine and then had to make changes from there, it was not the most ideal way to work. So the only thing is, I want to get it all implemented into the game before we record, because it's a lot easier to export voice acting scripts from AGS than it is to just like compile it all myself from a Word document. But it depends on, I might have to do that, I might not, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. May is going to be a very decisive month. That's me with my laundry pile. I think it just hissed at me. Oh yeah. How many iterations would you say a typical script goes through for you? That's hard to say. I mean, I know for a fact that Act 1 has gone through, I mean, Act 1 is pretty much final at this point, even though I still was making little tweaks here and there based on stuff that came after that I realized I could set up in bits in Act 1. But I would say Act 1 went through about 3 passes, maybe, before we decided it was final. So, we'll see. We'll see how this goes. I'm hoping naively that Act 2 and Act 3 won't need as many, because I took the lessons from what worked and what didn't in Act 1. But we'll see. Okay, so hold on. Before I do that, let me do a little shadow here of the shelf on the back wall to make it a little bit more interesting looking. That is too interesting looking. And by too interesting looking, I meant it was too dark. So let's do that again. There we go. Okay, that's better. Okay, so let's move that down. Merge that down. Okay, so now the fun part starts, because now it's the tease. And I don't mean the tease like, oh, you tease. I mean like the actual things of tea. Are your backgrounds more high-res than your characters? No, my backgrounds are the same resolution as my characters, which is to say 1280 by 720. So the backgrounds are drawn at 1280 by 720, and then the characters are also drawn for that resolution. I'm not mixing resolutions. There was a brief moment where I was doing that in Lamplight City, but it does not look good, so I did not do that. Alright, so let's get this color here. Let's get this middle color here. And I'm basically going to model this after this flower here, so let me just go ahead and draw. And this is going to be a symmetrical T thing. So I was surprised by the amount of old AGSers I've ran into on Twitch. Yeah, there's still quite a few of us around. Emphasis on old. Alright. So now we duplicate layer. And we say that that is roughly a good size. I'm gonna have to fix the bottom though. Well, maybe not. Okay, so now the question is, yeah, okay, this will be fine. Will this fit 5 canisters of tea on it? Yes, I think it will. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yes. If we have the box from here to here, we have the other container there. I might need to make this a little smaller, actually. Now I look at it. Let's make it ever so smaller. There. Put it over here. There. Okay, so. Also, I need to remember which is which. So let me look at my script real quick. I'm gonna put a little break so you don't see my script, just in case any of you decide to freeze and spoil yourselves. Let's go. Let me look over here real quick just to make sure. Okay, so we'll call this one exotic canister. Layer properties, exotic canister. Alright. Actually, I can just move my... Oh, thank you, Dustin Wilson, for the follow. I'm going to move my script over here to my second monitor so I can look at it without having to worry about looking at it over here. So let's go back here. One of them I didn't know previously. That was pure coincidence that it came up in conversation. I downloaded AGS for fun last year just to see how much has changed. I didn't understand anything, so basically on that, nothing has changed. I see. Well, I'm sorry to hear that you didn't understand anything. It's changed quite a bit. I would say fundamentally it's still the same. It's just, yeah, it's gotten a lot better for one thing. So that's good. Alright, once again, let's go and get this sort of shading done. Sort of shading done. It's more than just sort of shading, it's actual shading. Okay, and then a little bit more of a slightly darker dark over here, just to complete the illusion. Alright, well, it's our first pass at shading. Let's go in and detail it. So first things first, zoom in here and detail the top. Now I want to look at my reference here because I want to see what the tops here look like. So that's, yeah, okay. So basically what we're doing here is similar to this top here, which is going to have another sort of a screw top thing here. So these are always like that. Alright, and then this is the highlight color, so do a little highlight like so. Ooh, I just remembered I haven't sent out a newsletter for this month. I better get on that. Genuine TM 3D. Is that, as AGS isn't really supporting genuine 3D just yet. I don't think it ever really will, but that's something. Okay, so one more level of highlight, which will just be this. Okay. And then, of course, this decoration here, because we need to have this here. So 3D in an adventure game, it'll never happen. No, I was joking about the shading and completing the illusion, as you put it. Oh, I see. 3D is a fat. Yeah. Hey, thanks for the oh, Sven Matthias, thank you for the gift subscription to A Maple Mystery. It's very kind of you. All right, so actually, you know what? Let's do this way. Usually the way that these sort of painted ceramic, even though I don't know if this is ceramic, but usually the way that these painted things work is these bands, I should say. I was looking I was looking away. Let me do this as a separate layer. Sorry, there's a lot of false starts here. Separate layer because I'm gonna make this as symmetrical as possible, or at least try and make it as symmetrical as possible. So the way that these painted bands usually work is they have a border, and then they also have an outline. So we'll duplicate the layer, transform horizontal, and shift it over this way. There. And now we will zoom in some more and say, okay, well, this is our band. Let's do like a 2. Okay, and following with the shading here. Let's make this darker over here. And lighter over here. There. Yes. It's a world famous indie dev for the upcoming hit Crimson Diamond. Yes. There you go. You're world famous. Alright. Let me zoom out and see how this looks so far. That's acceptable. I'll take it. In the meantime, let's continue onward here. So that's the top there. This lid also needs to be alright. Let's merge that down. Excuse me. I think that needs a little bit more precision. So first of all, I'll get rid of that, and we'll do this. You know, I could probably just draw a straight line and then curve it. Let's try that. Warp it, I should say. How does this even work? Warp it like that. Except that's really ugly. That's not what I want. To misquote Warhol, everyone will be world famous to 15 people, right? Does anybody know how to curve a line without warping it? I mean, I do want to warp it, but I don't want it to be like, ooh, like thick or anything. Or is there any way to do like a curved line? I know that there's this pen tool. There's a curve tool. Freeform pen tool? No, maybe not. Anybody with more Photoshop knowledge than me, which is probably a lot of people. I just want it to go up. I should factor that in when I'm pricing my game. Yes, you always should. Let's see. Transform. I mean, distort doesn't really do what I wanted to do. Warp is the closest thing I wanted to do, but I just want the line to curve. I don't want the whole thing to stretch out or get better. In fact, I found out about this stream because A Maple Mystery mentioned Grundislav in a recorded stream on YouTube I stumbled across, and I was like, wait, I know that guy. Well, that's cool. Okay, you know what? I'm just gonna try this again by hand. 'Cause whatever, it's fine. Although, you know what? I did this. I'm just gonna leave it. You know what? I'm just gonna do a straight line. Screw it. And the reason I'm gonna do a straight line is because that is a straight line, and I don't feel like making it worse for myself. This is just an object. You're an inanimate object. So, yeah, I don't want to get too into the weeds with this. Pen tool works, but I don't use it. Okay. Okay, so same thing here. highlight this with actual other dynamics. Whoa. Feeling a bit weird about the adventure game fandom. First, Ron Gilbert got a bunch of abuse over the Return to Monkey Island art style, and now a friend who speedruns Monkey Island is getting hate from randomers who presumably found his videos through the YouTube algorithm recommending more Monkey Island content. Having really conflicted feelings around that's my people and they're being awful. Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. I have opinions. But I will refrain from airing them on stream. But let's just say that I do not approve of toxic fandom, and it really saddens me to see that happening in the adventure game community, which up until now I thought was fairly free of that sort of thing, but I guess it's not, so it's a shame. For everything niche, there will be a vocal subset of gatekeepers. Yes. We live in times when people have to constantly shout their frustration and know-it-all attitude into the internet. Just don't listen. Yeah, sometimes it's easier said than done, though. Unfortunately. Yeah. I mean, I'm more or less, yeah, that's what I'm looking at here. Okay, let's go back in and fix this up a little bit because I got a little excited there. There. I like the old saying, you can't please anyone. Yes. You can't please anyone. You certainly can't please everyone. You especially can't please anyone. It's just how it goes. Also, I've learned that edges on jars are not lit like this. I mean, I'm just looking at my water jug here and realizing that that is not how that is lit. So I'm going to apply the lessons that I'm looking at from this jug here and see if I can make it work better here. Let's just get this. should have looked at this further away before before continuing my spree here. Okay, cool. That'll do. Knowing myself, I'd probably stubbornly try to make all the art in DaVinci Resolve and then get frustrated and move on to something else. I've never heard of DaVinci Resolve. Streaming has been a pleasant surprise for me. I never thought I'd enjoy it so much. That's nice. Yeah, I like streaming too. Thankfully, I haven't, knock on wood, had any, like, hate raids or any of that horrible stuff you hear about. You guys are all pretty chill, so definitely thanks to a nice audience that is what makes streaming so enjoyable. The worst we get is the occasional want to become famous bots, so I can't really complain there. How do you feel about streaming, Grundislav? I hope I just answered your question. DaVinci Resolve's a video editor, I see, but it can do 3D stuff and compositing and tracking, etc. It's a WWW kind of day, nice hat. Thank you, Big K69er, hello. I've spent thousands and still I'm not famous. Well, yeah. I'm gonna take a little drink from the old canteen. The old canteen that I was looking at for inspiration. Alright, actually, hang on. Let's continue this little throughway here and make this a little bit better. And move in there. So we can sort of establish that this is a round thing. There. Off the record, I think those old boys bots might be a scam. You don't say. What about when someone makes you do push-ups? I mean, I guess it's beneficial for my health, although no one's made me do it in a while, so it's fine. Now, don't get any ideas, is all I'm saying. Excuse me. Especially after I just drank some water. Okay, so now that this is done. 5 redeems in a row. No, I put cooldowns on my redemptions. So cooldown redemptions. Red Dead cooldown redemptions. What? I don't even know. Okay, so alright, we've got the base here. I'm okay with this. I'm now going to decorate it with things. Actually, you know what? I'm not entirely okay with it. I want to smooth this out a little bit because it's still a little rough here. There. Yeah, see, and this is also too rough. So let's do a little bit of this. That's where the nice blending comes in. I need to use a bigger brush. Oops. There we go. There. Slightly better. I'll take it. With hiccups, my grandma used to say, someone is thinking about you while kissing someone else. Oh dear. Hack Twitch, make Grooney do push-ups forever. Oh no. Is this item going to be used by anyone? No, this is, I mean, this is not an item that you take with you. It's an item you can pick up, but it's not one you can take with you. Alright, let's do a little underneath here thing. I'm going to naively assume that this will probably be the most difficult of the tea containers to render, because it's a sort of, you know, canister shape. The other ones are mostly boxes. So, yes. Where would we be without layers and transparency? That's exactly, yeah, we would be in a bad place. I would be in a bad place. I rely heavily on layers and transparency, if that was not obvious. Go ahead and fix this. There we go. All right. Speaking of, new layer. Let us do a nice one of these. It is slightly higher, so I'm gonna make it curved this way, like so. Oh, that's terrible. Okay, hold on. Now we will refine this so that it doesn't look like ass. Now you know what? This curve is too curved. So let's try this again. So this curve point needs to be like here, which means it's mostly going to be straight and then curve slightly here. And then of course fit that. I just remembered we would be searing our eyes with bright pink sprite sheets. So curved it was nearly scandalous. Correct. Yeah, bright pink sprite sheets. Remember those before alpha transparencies? Those were a thing. Okay, so now we got that, and yeah, that works too. So now we get to blend it in again. So let's get this color. Oops. Actually, it needs to be darker here because it's going into the darker area here. Of course, the old darken. Okay, that's good. And one more across the top here, which I wonder if I can just recycle this one. And still make it look believable. I'd have to stretch it out a little bit. And also cut the edges here. There. Actually, you know what? It probably would be better if I just did this. And of course, I need to fix that. And let's make this darker. And also this. And then have that little glimmer of highlight along the rim just to make it more interesting looking. There. All right, cool. And then it has to have this design on it that looks like a 3, but I was thinking it would be a dragon, so let me do that accordingly. First of all, let me draw the thing as close to that shape as I can. I don't know what I was thinking when I was drawing these, but it was definitely something. Alright, so this will be... Oh, wait, I need to make it a new layer because... just in case. It looks like a 3, but it's really a dragon. At least I want it to be a dragon. So let's make it look more dragon-like. Let's give it a head here, and these will be its dragon things, and you kind of look like a snake And it's got consummate piece. Give it a tail. Give it one big arm for burnination. No. Okay, keep that. Let's go in and make this look like a dragon. As much as possible. First of all, let's get rid of the sort of weird protruding bits here. As long as it doesn't burninate too much, yes, that's what I'm trying to avoid. Alright, so I'll put it out this way. I'll do like a fan tail. That might be too much, actually. So let's go back and, yeah, it kind of ends like that. So. There. Cool. Now I have that song stuck in my head. Yeah, sorry. I've got it stuck in my head now, too. Where's the big beefy arm? Yeah, I drew it and then I got rid of it. So it has to be consistent with the rest. So let me look up dragon design so I can get a better idea of what I want this to look like. Oh, there we go. Okay, yeah, this is good. This is basically what I had in mind. It's mostly the shape I wanted. Okay, yeah, there we go. Okay, so let's do this. Let's have... So the dragon basically goes around like this, and it starts... The belly of it is like here. I need it to be darker though. How does this make sense? This doesn't make any sense unless this dragon twisted around. In which case, I guess, because that's the bottom of it. I don't know why it's doing that, but whatever. Anyway, it should... I mean, the tail, if it twists around like this... Let's start from the back. So the tail needs to sort of end in a peak here. Let's do the edge of both. So the belly of the dragon is kind of still here, except I don't understand how this happened. This dragon's covered by clouds. I think that the artist kind of forgot what was going on, and so they just kind of covered their mistakes with clouds, which I get, but I think it needs to, the belly needs to keep going rather than end here. So let me fix this here. guess it doesn't have to be such a sharp point. I mean, it looks like a sharp point here, but it can be less of a sharp point. It's just a dragon belly. So, less pointy, more dragon. More something. I don't know what I'm saying. There we go. Now that looks more like... Today's tea is brought to you by the number 3, which is also a dragon. Okay, so now that I've got that basic shape done, perhaps, is it a serious dragon or a whimsical dragon? Dragons can be real twisty at times. Sorry, my eyes are not on stream the whole time, working on art too. That's cool. Use the dragon from the opium den and lamplight. Easter eggs all around. Also, dragon, okay, let's play a game. Which number am I? J. King Webb says 125. Hello, J. King Webb. Welcome. You fool, I was half of 8. And perhaps the dragon is sassy and striking a pose. I could use the dragon from the opium den, but I mean, I'd like to draw new things if I can. One thing is having Easter eggs, the other thing is just being lazy. And I don't want to appear lazy. And anyway, the dragon in the opium den is foreground dragon, so it's a real close-up of it, so I don't want to... You know, I'm just making excuses for why I'm not going to do it. I just want to draw something new. So we'll keep this down like so. This would be like an etching here. So, although the way this is lit, it should actually be lit from behind. Hello, Grundasav with a hat. Hello, Edmund Detour. If you're going to be lazy, you got to go all out. Square marquee, copy paste job, no cleanup. Yeah, exactly. Exactly, right. That's exactly what I want to do. Yay. Okay. Yeah, so basically here what I'm doing is the opposite of what I just did. And lighting it from the other side. Which is to say that the bottom half... Since it's getting the light is coming from the bottom left, it will be lit from the bottom left. So there, consistency is key, as they say. Alright, so then this gets lit down this way. The belly also will be lit that way, but first I'm going to do the tail because why not? This will be the highlight color for the tail. This here. Dragon tail. Alright, and then so the belly also I'm going to do the lines here because why not? For some big K69 redeemed hydrate. Alright, I will hydrate. Now I'm thinking that would make an interesting art style, an entire game where every element is a sloppy cutout. It would certainly be interesting. I don't know about pretty, but interesting. Okay, so let's do a little scale texture. Even though this is like, I guess it's supposed to be a painting. But I want to do a little scale texture here. Even though it's not really scales, it's just sort of cross-hatching. But close enough. And then of course we'll do some highlights as well. And then of course the belly needs to be highlights as well. The belly of the dragon. Black Wolf, the Dragon Master. I don't know whatever happened to poor old Black Wolf, the Dragon Master. I hope he didn't get COVID. It can be as ugly as I want, and I can fend off any criticism by calling people uncultured. There you go. You've got it figured out. Okay, and now for the actual head of the dragon. And save, of course, because, you know, you could always mess things up right at the end, even though I don't want to, but whatever. Okay, so let's say here this is the horn thing, right? This is, dragons have horns. There's one horn, and then the other horn is here. They sort of have these things happening here, and then the mouth, and I'm suddenly remembering the bartender in Leisure Suit Larry 7, when he's like, "Hey, you can't go in there. They'll be changing in there with the woman and the breasts and this." That's what I feel like I sound like right now. Let's give this dragon some hair. And of course, some now the question is, where do I get the mouth? How do I get the mouth here? Let's do the mouth here. There we go. This is the front. This is the snout of the dragon. This is the mouth. Let's give him some teeth here. And of course some teeth here, because he's a snake. He's a snake now. And let's give him some little dragon whiskers, because dragons... Oh, wait, no, he needs one of those dragon noses. Which means that he's going to need his snout slightly modified to fit his dragon nose. There we go, that's better. That looks a lot more dragony. And now this is where his head is, so his eyes will be here. Right. It's starting to take shape. So his eyes are there, so his brow is here. Give him a little angry brow. Give him a little highlight on the brow here. And highlight on the nose. This is fun. Who would have thought I had to draw a dragon on stream? Not me, that's for sure. Let's give him some more teeth here on the side so he looks a little bit more ferocious. Actually, that's not where his teeth go. His teeth go on the side there. Yeah, okay, let's give him the... There we go. And then I guess give him like a little snout highlight up this way. And some cheeky highlights there, and let's do some nice little mustache. Because he's a cartoon villain now, so he's clearly got a mustache. Alright, there's a dragon. Look at that, little dragon. I like the little dragon. He's funny looking. Let me make this little whisker a little bit better. A little shorter, I mean. There. Cool. Okay. He is cute. He does look pretty happy. Are you running a Windows XP theme, or is that just what Windows 10 looks like? I haven't used it yet. This is Windows 10. I don't have Windows XP. I hope there is an Easter egg to summon the dragon. There is not. No. Kevin Huang, oops, wrong game. The music is too loud and the food is too salty. My last comment has no context now. Even I forgot what was said. What was your last Oh, yeah, I don't know. Alright, so he kind of looks like a cat. He's like a cat dragon. So anyway, let's move him a little bit more towards the center and let's adjust his brightness and contrast. Just so he blends in a little better. Okay, cool. Let me select all, and what I'm going to do to make him sort of look a little bit more 3D is darken the back part slightly. Darken it even more than that, actually. There. That's better. Yeah, I'm gonna just say that it's painted on. I'm not gonna do like any little 3D thingamajig or anything. It's Photoshop CS2, it still looks like old Windows. Yeah, I guess so. You had to do it in the old man voice. Oh, okay. Sure. Alright, let's fix that. Alright, we got our exotic tea container now. And it looks like that. Close enough to that. Also, this needs a shadow now because it is clearly established that this has a shadow, so let's lower the brightness, up the lower the contrast, move it behind here. also do this. Well, also do this. Alright, my mouse likes to get stupid. Let's do that. Needs to be further back. Actually, you know what? The shelf can be a lot lower, or this can be bigger. This needs to be higher up on the shelf. Yeah, it needs to be like there. Okay, and then this needs to be small. Well, it can be like that. Okay. Gaussian blur, so it's slightly away from that, and then we lower the transparency. There we go. Cool. 25 is good. Yes, good. Lower canister. Lower the canister. Alright, so this goes over here. Cool. Exotic canister. Exotic canister. Okay, so now that you asked for an old man voice and I gave you Sean Connery instead. Well done. Alright, that's one T thing down. 4 to go. Let's do a new layer. And the next one is a green box. So this should be easy, because it's a box. Much easier than anything else. Layer properties, let's call this one RIP. Yes, exactly. Chamomile box. So let's put this one in front a little bit. I like some overlap here. So put the box of chamomile there. And since it's in perspective, we'll have to see that we don't see the bottom of it or the sides of it, which is good. We do see the top of it though. So let's do this a little bit lighter. And actually this is a good thing here, because if this goes to the back here, that means the top of it reaches up here. Okay, so the top of it goes across from here, and then I'm just figuring this out here. Oop. Ah. Okay, so then this goes here. Okay, so from there to there. Perfect. All right. Ah, stop it, you stupid mouse. Okay, there we go. There. Didn't Sean Connery want to? Yes, he did. He was in Dragonheart. So I guess it's appropriate. I'm the dragon. Hello, Sonny, I'm a dragon. What you gonna do about it? I bet you're scared, aren't you? Now I just imagine what a stupid movie that would be. Hello, Sonny, I'm the dragon. Aren't you scared? Well, you better be. Oh boy, how stupid. Okay, wait, let me move this a little bit more so that it's actually right. I screwed it up, didn't I? No, I didn't. I just gotta move my perspective grid over here. Because this one, thankfully, this first one is not affected by the perspective. Okay, so I'm going to then have these other three. They should fit, but I just want to make sure that they fit. So before I continue, I'm going to do boundary on canister. This one's red. This one's red with a sort of weird orange, bright orange thing around it, and another thing around it too, but it's gonna go behind the chamomile one. So it's gonna be about the same level as the yeah, actually, you know, this chamomile box and this have to be a lot more over this way in order for this to work. So let's move this canister over here. How about other dragons? Can you do a Benedict Cumberbatch voice? Who? No, I can't do a Benedict Cumberbatch voice. Hello, I'm a dragon. That's my Benedict Cumberbatch. It's not very good. Hello, little hobbit man. I'm a dragon. I'm Doctor Strange, the dragon. Okay, so we got that, and we got this, and my hair itches from my hat. If you can do a Dr. House, his American Doctor Strange voice sounds similar to me, maybe less nasal. I cannot do that, unfortunately. Sorry. Okay, hold on. I gotta figure out how to make this better, because I think the problem here is that this is still too big. So let's make exotic canister slightly smaller and move it over. My cat dragon over here. Move that over by 2. And then move chamomile box and perspective grid also over by 2. By 2, I mean by 20. And then this canister also has to go over by 20, which means that the perspective is off. But no, you know what, let's do it by that so that it's not quite so... I'll make it thinner. I don't want to make a tangent with the edge of it there, so that's why I moved that. So now I have enough space for 2 more canisters, which basically need to be about here. There, new. What's my other one? whiskey canister. Right. Exotic canister. Oh, oolong. Right. Oolong canister. And unlabeled canister. Okay. I did my best Scottish accent last night for the Last Crusade Scottish Lord Tapestries bit. It wasn't good. Oh man, I'm sorry I missed that. I'm gonna have to check the VOD. Hi Francisco, you in Wild West mood today, I see. Yes, I am. Some rando's just texting me now. Great. I love it when randos text me. That's a lie, I don't. Okay, so let's do... This is number 3. Alright, so let's do the canister up here. Once again, this is another one of these apothecary type canisters, which is actually pretty similar to this, so I'll work with that. And yes, so duplicate layer. Unlabeled canister is easy because this one is just a cylinder, so this is like this basically. So we'll do unlabeled canister here. Duplicate and flip. There we go. And then where do we go? I just have to move them slightly to make them fit, and I think we'll be set fit-wise. I was worried that I wasn't going to be able to fit them all, but I did, somehow. I feel like maybe this canister can be a lot smaller. The chamomile box, I mean, can be slightly smaller, like that. Right. And then the oolong, oops. This one can come over there. And then this one can be here. And then unlabeled can be there. There we go. And now we've got some nice overlap, and also, so yeah, it keeps the rain off my head. Speaking of which, in a manner of speaking, I'm going to dehydrate, so I will be back in a few minutes. Sit tight. Alright, I'm back, and I see that Electric Dragon UK has redeemed Show Off a Big Box Game, and to preempt the question, Other. Alright, so let's get an other big box game. Let's see. I don't know that I've ever shown this one, actually. Maybe I have. If I have, apologies, but I don't think I've shown this one. So here's one that I used to have the box for back in the day and then got rid of and had to track down again on eBay, and it was very difficult, but I finally did, and that is Toonstruck, which this is the North American version that doesn't have the horrible, scary clown on it, and it's got a sticker on the front that just has a bunch of reviews. But this one's got the weird Christopher Lloyd on the electric chair cover. And here's the back of it with all of the weird, excuse me, all of the weird cartoon text. And it's rated T for teen for mild animated violence and comic mischief. So we've got a bunch of stuff inside. It's actually quite a heavy package because it's got a it's got an envelope, and it's also got a bunch of stuff. Oh, here we go. So it's got the game, which the game comes on CD-ROM, of course. Yes, it is sad that they never made a second game. CD-ROM on 2 discs. Interesting designs. Let's put that back for now. And then there's also a Trip on this disc CD-ROM sampler, which has Beavis and Butthead in Virtual Stupidity, Cats, Circle of Blood, which, for those of you who don't know, is the American version of Broken Sword, Shadow of the Templars, Siberia 2 Resurrection, Dogs, Flight Unlimited, Grid Runner, Terra Nova, Strike Force Centauri, Command & Conquer, Red Alert, Clandestiny, Heart of Darkness, Lands of Lore, Guardians of Destiny, Promised Land, Scorched Planet, Z, Toonstruck, NHL Power Play 96, Grand Slam, Propaganda, Caddy Hack Haunted Miniature Golf, and Galactic Mirage. This is still in the shrink wrap. I never bothered opening this, so there's that. And then the envelope itself, which contains the manual and a bunch of other stuff. The manual, of course, is very big and colorful and has a flip book of Flux Wildly. And it also has a fold-out map of the whole world, which is cool. And it's basically just, oh look, it shows you an upside-down walkthrough of the beginning if you don't know how to play adventure games. It's actually, yeah. And then all the troubleshooting and whatnot. So it's a nice little manual. It's got little sketches of the characters. You've got to win a free computer game. You've got a help thing, and you've got a Virgin limited warranty card. So that is the extent of what comes in this Toonstruck. Ouch, I think I just got a paper cut. That's the extent of what comes in this Toonstruck box. So, yes. Toonstruck. Is it still under warranty? I doubt it. This game's from 1996. This over-the-top live-action and animated adventure features 2 CDs jam-packed full of hilarious adventure gameplay and a whole ward of bizarre characters. Starring Christopher Lloyd and featuring the vocal talents of Tim Curry, Dan Castellaneta, TV's Homer Simpson, Dom DeLuise, and gold-throated artists featured in Aladdin, Animaniacs, and more. Over 40,000 frames of animation and over 75 unique locations crammed full of puzzles. Integration of live-action video and traditional animation unlike anything ever experienced. Unless you watched Who Framed Roger Rabbit, I guess. In Germany, we had only this ugly box with the clown. Yeah, I think that was in the European release. I got a demo disc on a PC magazine but could never get it to work properly, so it was only years later that I was able to play it. I see. How much did the voice acting cost for that game? Probably a lot. It had a lot of famous cartoon actors. So, yes. And Tim Curry. Not to mention Christopher Lloyd. And it had Ben Stein. So yeah, the budget alone for casting must have been pretty expensive, which is probably why they never made a sequel. I'm sure it didn't earn back its money. Okay, so where was I? Yes, I was gonna do this chamomile box next. Let's see how it looks here. Okay, so first things first. Right, so this is going to be the separator. And the box is pretty straightforward. I mean, it's just going to be a box. So, just kind of got to color it correctly. Or shade it correctly, rather. So this is another box that's sort of getting lit from the side. And if we're looking at this, these are metal. I should have used non-metal boxes, but it's fine. So yeah, let's select all real quick. And just do a very quick I think I may have done a bit too much there. There we go. I guess I should have done this before doing the line, but it's fine. I'll do the line again. Okay. Do you like tea? Any favorites? Tea's okay. I mean, if I'm gonna have tea, as cliche as this is, I do prefer Earl Grey. I'm not really much of a tea connoisseur. I have become more of a coffee drinker of late. But I have, I like tea every now and then. I used to drink it more, but not so much anymore. We still have Grunewald Vet. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm really sorry. I forgot. Tim Curry voiced Gabriel Knight in the first part, didn't he? Wasn't necessarily a fan of his performance there, but then Gabriel Knight is also often a sexist a-hole in this game, and I say that even though I love this game very much. Yeah, he did. He was Gabriel Knight in the first and the third game. And yeah, his performance is subject of controversy. Some people really like it, some people don't. I don't mind it. I think it's charming. Of course, no one from New Orleans actually talks like that. But it's, it's sweet enough, I guess. So, yeah. Gabriel Knight 1 had a great cast all around. I mean, it had Tim Curry, it had Mark Hamill, it had Leah Remini, it had Michael Dorn. Of course, the inimitable, well, I don't know about inimitable, but it had Virginia Capers. I certainly imitate her a lot. Yeah, it was a great cast. There was a period there where Sierra was really knocking it out of the park as far as voice casts. Once they moved away from employees and got actual Hollywood talent. King's Quest VI, Gabriel Knight Sins of the Fathers, Freddy Farkas, even Leisure Suit Larry 6. I forgot that he also voiced him in the third part, but I haven't played that one in ages either. Yeah. So yeah, that was a lot of really good casts in Sierra games. In the later ones. Okay, that's more or less. You know what? I'm gonna, for the exotic canister, I'm gonna do a little bit of a shadow underneath as well, because I don't like how it just kind of sits on the thing like that. It should have more of a little shadow underneath. But for that to work, I need another layer. There. Rename that here. Okay, cool. That's better. That sits on the shelf a little bit better, I think. Right now, I'm playing Mage's Initiation, Reign of the Elements. That's also a great game. You probably know it too. I do know of it. I haven't played it because dirty little secret time. I don't really play indie adventure games anymore. So I haven't gotten around to playing it, unfortunately. But I definitely know of it. It looks very pretty. It's not really the right brush for this. I could do a bigger brush. purrs in my general direction. Well, thank you. Okay, I think that'll be all right. I think maybe I should adjust again the general brightness and contrast. Maybe not. Up the contrast a little. No, nah, that's fine. Something about it is just not quite sitting right with me for some reason, and I don't know what it is, but I guess. If I lower the brightness by like 2, it doesn't really help. Maybe that. What's this? You know, maybe what it is that there's not enough contrast here. I just need to make this darker so that it seems more in line with the rest of it. Because right now it's kind of the same color as else. Hi, it reminds me of Splinter from the Turtles. Oh, that's cool. Hello, Hachowo. The face reminds me of a character from a cartoon series. Well, you saw me draw it. I wasn't really looking at anything when I drew it. But, okay. I guess it kind of does have like a Splinter vibe, doesn't it? Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, yeah, that looks better. I'm happier with how that looks. I think adding the shadows of the rest of the stuff will also help, and I should probably texture the wood a little bit better too. Now I think about it, because I mean it's not super textured here, but I also would like it to be a little bit more wood-like. So let me do that real quick here. Because otherwise it's just kind of weird. See, because the problem here is that there's too much space between these, so it looks pretty bad. Not gonna lie. Let's get rid of all this T and go back to this again. So, just want to make the texture a little bit more even. Have like actual cracks and stuff in the wood. It's partly why I'm not such a fan of how it looks. And also I can just go ahead and like just darken it too to give it a little bit more interesting texture. That might be a bit too much, actually. There. That's better. So I'll go ahead and add some more texture here. Okay. Alright. That's... well, hang on. I want to suggest that it still goes on this way too. It doesn't just end here. Okay, that's better. Okay. Well, good. With that, I'm going to call it a stream here. It turns out I did not finish it on stream, despite being a close-up, but I will be able to finish it by this workday, I'm sure, because I only need to... all I have to do is finish shading all these canisters, which shouldn't be too bad. So anyway, thank you all for coming. I will see you next time on Wild West Wednesday. Hopefully next week I'll have the whole game written, and I'll be a lot happier, and I'll be doing some more interesting stuff. I mean, it's all interesting stuff, I hope. But anyway, see you next time, and thanks for coming by. Bye, everybody. I'll leave you with the Rosewater trailer, because why not?
Tell me, what is it you want out of life? Fortune, glory, the thrill of adventure? I'm offering you a chance at all three. You just need to do me one small favor. You've something of a reputation, you know. Clever, resourceful, maybe a little dangerous. I do hope that's accurate. The path won't be straightforward. You'll encounter obstacles along the way, perhaps even some other dangerous people. You'll need some help, but I assure you the rewards far outweigh the risks. You will be richer than you ever thought possible, if you can deliver. I'll be in touch.